bad boy. We're in progress. I was like, welcome to the TPAS November workshop. I'm so excited that we're all here, you guys. And obviously you can see on the call, and we're actually gonna make, a formal announcement, but we did go ahead, you guys, and we have two new board members that we have added to our board of directors. And those two board members are here on the call. We have Patrick Custer with Promises Behavioral Health and Natasha Lisby with Transformations. And we are super excited to have their knowledge and their wisdom to be a part of the TPAS board of directors. So besides myself on the call, just so you all know, and like I said, we're going to make a really wicked, awesome formal announcement. If any of you have any questions about TPAS, about how to become a member, all the things, Patrick and Natasha are also a resource to all of you now. And so I would love it, before we get started, if Patrick, I'll start with you first. If you just want to just say a couple things about TPAS and why you said yes to becoming a board member.
So, being in recovery, well, first of all, thank you, Michael. And to the rest of the board for asking me. I'm personally in recovery myself. I think like a lot of us are, and kind of the same deal that, we want to give back what we've been given. I have worked in treatment for 10 years and stepped into alumni work a couple of years ago. And when I did, somebody, one of the board members pulled me into, the collaborative, and it was such a great resource, because when I stepped into alumni, I didn't just step into like one facility. I started it. My job was this one, to build a national alumni program over 10 facilities. And it was a big task. And I don't know how I could have done it without the support and resource of TPAS. And when I say support and resource, that also includes like the connection piece, like the piece of just knowing that, I can text or call somebody that I know that I've met. Michael has been a huge, and so many of the others, to ask questions about like the things that we do, the forums, this and that and whatever. And I think that more than any other association or professional group in our field, TPAS is the most altruistic. And the reason I say that is because we truly do help one another. We don't care, it's not about competing facilities. It's not about any of that, and so we really break it down to taking the patient care to its core. And, really the primary reason we're all doing this. And I love that. And it speaks to my heart, and the mission of why I'm investing my time of work in this field, period. Like I can't think of a better time to spend outside of my regular job duties than to serve on this board. So thanks.
Thank you. I'm like, thank you, P. Diddy. Guys, wicked. You can call him whatever, P. Diddy. I'm just kidding, call him Patrick. Natasha, would you go ahead and just let everybody just give a little brief intro of, why you said yes to joining the board? You guys, she's wicked.
Of course. And thank you, Michael. Patrick, you are a tough act to follow, but I am so excited that you and I get to start this together. You have wonderful energy, and I've known you for a few years now through TPAS. So I was super happy when Michael mentioned that you would also be joining. My story is very similar to what Patrick shared. I've been in recovery myself for the past 7 years. I've worked in alumni services for the past 6 years, and I think I've been attending TPAS for 4 or 5 years. So TPAS has been a huge part of my journey in alumni services, from alumni coordinator to supervisor and now to manager. And when I was tasked with leading the department, I remember going to my first TPAS, which happened maybe a month after I was handed the position, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Everyone's going to find out I'm a fraud, you know, the whole imposter syndrome thing. And, you know, everyone at TPAS was so incredibly warm and supportive, and as always shared incredible ideas and for leadership, for the alumni department, how to better serve the alumni community, all of those things. Whenever I have an opportunity to participate in a TPAS collaborative, I genuinely feel like it fills me back up to the top. You know, as many of us can probably relate to, working in alumni services is incredibly rewarding, but it can also be very challenging at times. So having that self-care component at TPAS, and, you know, wellness and mindfulness and all of those great things, you know, it kind of restores me to what I need to be so that I can come back and better serve the alumni. So, you know, how could I say no? My only concern was that I didn't want to commit to it without making sure I had the time to properly commit, right? Because this isn't a commitment I would take on and take lightly. And Amy was there for the conversation. And trust me, my first instinct was absolutely, of course, like, you know, this is a huge honor. And thankfully, you know, they were, Michael and LB were gracious and gave me the time to think about it and make sure that I could 100% commit myself to this position. So I keep looking at the email that Michael sent me saying, welcome to the board. And I'm like, wow, that's real. You know, they actually want me to be a part of this, because the board is such an incredible group of humans, and everyone who participates in TPAS, there's such a beautiful group of humans. So to get to be a support to you all now as well is a great honor, and to be of service to TPAS is a huge honor as well. So that's my little spiel.
Thanks, guys. And you guys, it just kind of speaks to the way we design the board. We really, and I'm going to admit, Anna, we really designed the TPAS board to have people that are in our shoes, right? That are in alumni programming, that have been doing this thing for a while now, and can really advocate for newer members, advocate for people that are just coming into the industry and have no idea what they're doing, and people that are passionate. And so that's really what our board consists of, are humans that are in our members' shoes, that have, you know, fought tooth and nail, like for their programs, and are passionate about this work, because it's really beautiful work. And so I'm super excited for what's to come with you guys being on the board, and for TPAS and all the things, you guys. So with that being said, before we kick off workshop, I do want to go around. Does anybody want to say anything? Because I'm such a dork about gratitude, like in the month of November. Gratitude, something that made you smile today, just to get like all those like ooey feelings out. But does anybody want to share quickly? We'll, you know, just go around. Does anybody want to share, like, what is something you're grateful for? What is something that made you smile today? And it can be so simple. So I'll just go ahead and just open it up for like the next minute or so to do a quick fire of what made you smile. What are you super grateful for?
It's the United States Marine Corps birthday today.
Nice.
How did I know?
I'll go. So this past weekend, one of our Florida facility, it was their first homecoming. And if any of you know about anything about Florida weather this past weekend, it was not good. It was like the worst of circumstances. And it was supposed to be on the beach underneath a giant event tent and all the things. And we had to pivot and find an alternative venue 4 p.m. the day before. And it was a nightmare. And so many things had to come into play to provide us an alternative place to make it happen. And we worked for like 20 hours straight to switch everything. And it was able to take place. So I'm grateful for what recovery teaches us, and the principles for being able to adapt to change, pivot, and a higher power up there working somewhere, making things possible for us to do our jobs.
Awesome. That's so cool. I'm so glad it happened, Patrick. Oh, dude. Nice.
Yes.
Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Let's go. What made you smile? What are you grateful for?
Sure. I'm thankful. Yesterday celebrated with my 19-year-old her birthday. She, at 2 years old, went through a bone marrow transplant. So, 17 years ago when we celebrated her 2-year birthday, we didn't know if it would be her last, and we just celebrated her 19th, and she's doing well. So it's always fun.
That's amazing, Darren. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing.
I'll go ahead. I am super grateful for Patrick and Natasha, and knowing that you guys are on the board has definitely made me smile this morning. So congratulations to both of you, two amazing, amazing people. I'm just super grateful for these monthly workshops that I get to see my friends that I made at Collaborative, and just the amazing connections that we get to have through TPAS. So I'm a happy being. It's a good day.
Thanks, Tabitha.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Go on, Ames.
Okay, I'll go. So I had this like incredible group. So there was like this really cool higher power moment that happened for me this week where I was talking to somebody who's like in my support circle, and she recommended a daily reading from The Courage to Change. And then I ended up reading it, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. And then I read it to a group that I run called Soul Work outside of my center. And we just had this incredible, like empowering group about finding your voice. And it was just like, I wanted to express my gratitude to TPAS, because I feel like through my involvement with TPAS, I've gotten more comfortable about speaking about my own recovery in these kind of settings. And because of that, I feel like it allowed for this like incredible conversation to unfold with the women in my group. And it just was like one of those life-giving moments of like, this is why I do what I do. And I'm really grateful. So I'm glad for that reading. I'm grateful for that reading, and I'm grateful for all you guys. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Awesome. All right. And then lastly, I want to ask, do we have any new members on this workshop that this is your first TPAS workshop?
I'm new.
Welcome to the party. Woo! New member in the house. Okay, Nicole, you want to give us the 411? Where are you at? All the things.
Yeah, so I'm actually fairly new to the alumni service side. I used to be a counselor. I worked in the field in some capacity for about 14 years now. And I'm actually back with Virtava Health for a third time. I love the company, but where their location is by me is in the middle of nowhere, out like in Amish country, which is a really long commute. I loved it, but personal things happen. I couldn't do it anymore. And I was offered this virtual job. So I started in July. And
Welcome.
we started the new platform with Cared For. And so Megan is the one who told me about this. So I guess I'm grateful for Megan and, being able to find this organization. So I'm excited.
Nicole, where do you live?
I live in Ohio, but near Pittsburgh, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you were near the Virtava headquarters, because it's down the road from me. I
Oh,
was
no,
gonna say
but
we should get lunch.
Yeah, no, I'm in Ohio, unfortunately.
Cool.
Well, welcome to the fam. We're so excited to be here. And if you want to put your contact info in Basecamp or even on Zoom right now, and people can get your digits. And if other people want to share your digits, do that too. But so exciting. Well, I mean, and Megan with Cared For, we all love Megan Cared For. A lot of us use that app. I know myself with Harmony does, with Tabitha, and Patrick Custer uses it. And yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
Welcome. Oh my gosh. So good. I get so excited. Okay. Who else? Anybody else?
I'm new.
Michelle, right? Is it Michelle?
Yeah.
Michelle, welcome to the fam. Come on, give us the deets. What's shaking?
My story is super similar to Nikki's because we work for the same organization. And So I live an hour away from the Massachusetts location, and I worked in the detox for a little over 3 years as a case manager. And then I had to leave for a little while because I needed a more like mom friendly schedule. And then as soon as the virtual alumni coordinator position opened up, I went for it. So I've been doing that ever since, and I love it. So it's, yeah.
Sweet. Well, welcome again to the fam, and you're in a family that is so supportive. And again, if you want to put your digits or contact info in the chat or in Basecamp, and everybody else do the same, we're totally here to love and support you guys, because that's what we do. We're one big happy family. I'm like, I love it. Like, new member alert. So awesome. So with that being said, you guys, let's jump into our workshop today. And this is a topic I'm super excited that we are talking about, and one that can really elevate our alumni programming in our community. And so today we are going to be talking about how do we build, or how have some of you already built community partner relationships, obviously within your community. What does it look like for some of you that have these partnerships? What has it done for your alumni programming? How did you go about establishing community partners? Especially a really great, and how, like, and again, with community partnerships as well, what pillar of your programming do you use it for? Do you use it for service work? Is it for scheduling for like different classes for your alumni? Do you use it for professional? Do you use community partners for professional development? What does that look like for some of you? Because there's a lot of us that have either never like gone out of our scope of recovery, of just like being with our alumni programs, and have gone out to, whether it's, community partners that are, established because they're all in recovery, or it's just what I like to call community partners that are normal, that are not, in the recovery space, but they serve a purpose for our programming. So I would love to be able to open that up for discussion, and we can do it one of two ways. We can do it where, if anybody has experience with bringing community partners in, and what has that done for your program, to be able to share about that, or if people just want to start to ask questions about community partnerships, the value behind it, how do you go about seeking them out? How do you start those relationships? What does that look like for your programming? So then I guess my first question will be, has anybody, and you can either raise your real hand or your hand on Zoom, do any of your programs currently have relationships with community partners, and what does that look like? Nice. Patrick, do you want to go? And then also, before I have Patrick go into this, is this something that any of you, that it's been on your radar as far as, oh, this would be a really great way to cast a wider net for alumni programming, instead of, like I said, just like staying in the familiarity of the recovery space, if you know what I mean, right? Cool. So Patrick, I would love it if you would just kind of share on, and they'll have Tabitha share on what we do, on what you do with community partners. Sure.
And forgive me if I'm answering this incorrectly, but this is how I heard what you were saying. So we connect with our community or area partners, other treatment centers inside or outside our space, in a number of ways. Like during Mental Health Month and National Addiction Awareness Month, we do something for like a nonprofit. So there's a local organization that they're actually nationwide, but like they do support women getting out of human trafficking, and helping them to get like their lives back together and everything. And so we did like a fundraiser for them, and the alumni helped to like host the event and what have you, and people came and participated. It was like a sip and shop, basically. I'm trying to think, like we did sober tailgate. So there's this organization. Oh, Duke Rumley is part of TPAS, the founder of Sober AF Entertainment. They're really cool. They are, I wouldn't say community because they're not like in Nashville necessarily. They kind of go everywhere. So they're the grand community. They go around the country and organize sober events in different cities throughout the year, and then get community partners like us to participate. So we sponsored a collegiate football tailgate with a number of other treatment centers, and that was kind of cool because our alumni got to participate and see just kind of like other people from other alumni from other facilities that are in our city as well, in addition to the collegiate recovery program at Vanderbilt. Like, their students came, and so it was a really neat. You don't see a lot of that happening outside of like a recovery festival or an AA or NA meeting, and so we really saw a huge benefit out of that activity, especially because just the connections are really powerful, and people appreciating, when our alumni get to bond with other alumni and just be like, what, we love our program we went to. But it's just a really cool, special thing. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, like, we do a service project every month, and that usually is where we end up doing a lot more collaboration with community partners. So sometimes, for instance, at our different facilities during National Recovery Month, local other recovery organizations were already doing some type of recovery festival or whatnot. Well, our alumni communities would just sign up and participate to be volunteers, right? To go and support, and that was their service project for the month. So I think a lot of ours looks like service, when it comes to partnering. So we get to, join in and kind of fill whatever void we can, and that's a connection that has served us well.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Patrick. Tabitha, did you want to share about what Harmony does with CARE?
Yeah. So Harmony is partnered with CARE, which is Colorado Artists in Recovery. They are a nonprofit out of Denver. And basically, they host a whole array of different kinds of creative classes. Like, they have a writing workshop, they have a music workshop, they have just how to spark your creativity workshops. So basically, anything in the creative realm, they're providing free workshops. And Harmony Foundation partnered with them and asked them to come and lead a couple of workshops for our alumni. Now they're growing so quick and so fast. We promote all of the things that they're doing to our alumni. We even have one of our alumni actually even teaches one of the classes. So it's just a great way to plug people in. It's a less work for Michael and myself. We get to promote a really great product and send them to people we know are doing really amazing things. So that's how we have benefited, definitely, with partnering with CARE. We've also partnered with Hazelden Betty Ford Children's Program here in Colorado. They are amazing. They do a workshop for us once a month. And it's just great for our alumni to have that resource to get to know these people so that they can utilize the rest of their resources outside of the workshop. Yeah, we do tons of stuff. We have another workshop we have going on with a professor from CSU who teaches Brene Brown stuff. So once again, for our college students, or people thinking about going back to school, that familiar face just once again helps them feel more comfortable. We also do service. This holiday, we are giving back to our sober livings that some of our alumni have lived in. We are going to do an Amazon wish list for them for Christmas. So lots of different ways to plug in, but I think the biggest benefit is less work for us, more opportunity for the alumni to find something that they really enjoy to do and find their community of people.
Thanks, Tara. Is anyone else working with community partners or have benefited from relationships that they want to share on, or does anybody have any questions? Darren, go for it.
Yeah, so one really big benefit we've gotten from a community partner, and that's a national organization, AmeriCorps. They have a recovery corps in Minnesota. I think they're in a few other states, but at least in Minnesota, where we have partnered with them, and they've provided us with some actual positions to work in peer recovery with our alumni. So 40-hour-a-week full-time positions as a grant. And so they've been able, one, provide a couple jobs for our alumni on their contract basis, which gives them training in peer recovery. At the end of that, they can become certified peer recovery specialists as well. And we've been able to we just started in September with them, but it's been incredible to be able to provide those kind of resources to our alumni who just call in and say, hey, one called in and wanted to make sure he was an alumnus of ours. He didn't graduate our long-term program, but a short-term program a year and a half ago. And yeah, you're an alumnus, and he needed wanted some support. I offered him our recovery navigator and met with him a few times, and he's been able to even go back into a short-term program because he needed that. He's been able to work with a few others on housing, on jobs, just stuff that we probably wouldn't have had the capacity to work on a one-on-one basis, but has just been incredible. And then they just granted us 2 more positions. They're starting this week, and there's potential for 2 more positions at the beginning of this year to work. We're in 5 different locations in Minnesota, and so we can actually put some bodies in other locations just to serve our alumni and whatever they need in that peer recovery realm, which has been huge. And then some other community partnerships, just out of one of our TPAS monthly groups. I think maybe August, we were talking about Walk for Recovery. And that was the first I kind of heard about that national event that's been going on forever, but, able to connect with our community. We have a big Minnesota recovery connection. And so we co-sponsored, a booth at our Walk for Recovery, and started getting involved with some other events that we're able to promote to our alumni. And it was great to be at Walk for Recovery and saw just, 50 or more alumni. We had a banner there for our alumni to stop by and sign, and just really good to get out in the community. And then also was able to attend a March 3-day conference for Recovery Corps or recovery. Those who work in recovery fields, whether as counselors or executives, and connect with a ton of different recovery, whether residential treatment, outpatient treatment, and connect some business cards, see if, start an alumni network up here, a TPAS chapter in Minnesota where it gets pulled. So yeah, it's exciting. We're kind of at the beginning of that, but it's a cool realm. Our treatment center, we've been around for 30 years. We're faith-based, and we've in some ways have not entered into a lot of different realms. We do a ton with outreach and prevention. We're in 300 schools doing outreach, prevention, education, and that. But as far as connecting with other community resources, that's where we're beginning to do and finding, we have a lot of value to add, and as well, it's a reciprocal relationship too. So I'm excited to keep expanding that.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. Something I was going to add that we do also in Harmony that we haven't done in COVID, but we'll bring it back, is we partner with the town of Estes where Harmony is, and we participate and help and have a booth with the local duck race, and it's a local fundraiser. And it's like the duck race is like, guys, it's the duck race in Estes. And what's cool about it is, you know, we have a booth and alumni run this booth, and there's a lot of people that are just in our local community. And then they come up and they see our Harmony booth at the town duck race, and they're like, what's Harmony? You know? And so we have realized that even locally in the small town that we're in, a lot of people don't really know that we exist, you know, and especially there's a lot of turnover being a tourist destination town, but it really like lit a fire in me to be like, oh my gosh, like our local community doesn't even know about us, you know? And so we have started to look at other events now that things are opening back up with the pandemic, to be able to make a bigger presence, just not only for our alumni to get out there and to run our booths because they're proud to be in recovery, but to be able to just educate the local community on a resource that is available to them that they had no idea existed, but like the general hospital. It's not even a hospital, it's a medical center. But so it's really cool to see also that our alumni are feeling proud enough to talk about recovery, that they're ready to show face at an event that has nothing to do with recovery. It has to do with a community. And to just come from a place of empowerment has been super beneficial, something that we want to continue to offer and just find more and more things to do like on that level of engagement. So yeah.
So many great ideas. Thank you guys all for sharing. So one thing that Mike and I actually did this past weekend, and it's funny because when Patrick was talking about the weather, I was like, oh yeah, we were also outside for that. We participated in what was called Soldier Rush Race. So essentially they set up an obstacle course similar to, you know, what they do in boot camp, but obviously a lot more fun for all skill levels and ages, from, you know, kids on up to adults. And we set up a booth there. It was me and the marketing director. Mike ran the race and then hung out in the booth for a little while. But we met so many incredible people, and we met a bunch of firefighters, paramedics, police officers, things like that, who were in recovery themselves and actually wanted to speak for the monthly veteran first responder alumni meeting that Mike runs for our alumni. So kind of like what you were saying, Michael, just getting our name out there, raising awareness about, you know, the resources that are available, being able to hand out some educational literature. You know, we had people approach the booth and they were a little surprised to learn that, you know, there's so much more out there than just therapy. And they felt like therapy at this point wasn't necessarily enough for them. So letting them know that there are things like inpatient care, residential care, you know, outpatient care, if that's a better fit. And being able to help point them in the right direction. So I think we're absolutely going to look into doing much more of that moving forward. And then specifically on the alumni front, seeing how we can get our alumni more involved in volunteering. And I love what you said. I think Tabitha said it about just providing more options to the alumni without putting a ton of extra work on our little team, you know? So I think, yeah, that's brilliant. And I love that. So thanks, guys.
Yes, something that I'll go for it, Tabs.
I just want to do a quick little plug for our local Colorado TPAS chapter. So we have a Colorado chapter. We meet once a month. This is and also an opportunity where we can bring new people to come and share what they do in the realm of recovery or data collection or really anything. And each one of us like give names of people that it would be good to know. But really having those monthly meetings with other people in Colorado once a month has been super beneficial for Harmony as well. So just putting a bug, get a local chapter group together. It is so worth it.
Yeah.
You were the one who gave me that idea in the breakout in Malibu. So I collected a bunch of cards. That's what I'd love to do.
Yeah. Um, Something that I was thinking about too, that I wanted to run by you guys and just like your thoughts, or if it's something that you guys even thought about from an alumni standpoint, is like, being able to also look at our alumni. Obviously, yes, they're walking billboards for our programs, for where we work, and what does it look like to be able to, if there are events that they want to do, whether it's they want to run a marathon or they want to go, work a festival like a chili cook-off or whatever that, but if they wanted to represent the organization and just have like a Harmony shirt or a Transformation shirt or a Vertiva shirt or Promises, so then people can always say like, oh, can you tell me a little bit more about your shirt or like who you're representing? I think from an authentic standpoint, a game changer that I have been seeing and, would love to entertain the idea of, is having more alumni approach Tabitha and I to be able to say, hey, like, I would love to represent Harmony at this event. I would love to do this to represent at the event. It's almost an extension of business development where people actually get to build connections, in my mind, with people that have really experienced it. And it's not just a staff member, but somebody that's been through the entire program. And so I just kind of wanted to run that idea off from any of you guys, like if you think that that's a really not a good idea, like any barriers to entry, obviously there's always approval that we get from the higher ups, but to be able to offer that opportunity to alumni to say, hey, like if you give me a free shirt or a free headband, like I would love to represent at this, at whatever events or things that they're passionate about. Again, to be able to talk even more about what we do. So I wanted to throw that out there to see thoughts, if you're like, Michael, that's really fucking shitty, or like that could go really well. Or if any of you guys have even done that before or are doing it.
I've never done it, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. And I feel like I've been, kind of kicking around trying to put together this crew of alumni called like the Wellness Warriors. Since we're Lido Wellness, and like that they kind of help me do stuff like that. And I feel like alumni, I was really realizing that like alumni are out there doing, like I have alumni who are involved in like more public organizations like NAMI and things like that. But it's like, I'm sure they would love to have that opportunity to represent the treatment center as well. So I think it's a good idea.
I love the idea also. I think, who better to represent and talk about the program than those who've actually gone through it and lived it. I think there's something that's so genuine that comes through when people who've gone through the program talk about it with others. And they're like, oh, okay, so this isn't just, sales and marketing tactic. This is, someone who genuinely had a positive experience wanting to share that with others, because you never know who might be in need of help, even if it's not the person they're speaking with. It could be a loved one. And, we saw a lot of that too this weekend at the event. So I had a question. Do you guys have like a calendar of events that you share out with your alumni? How far ahead do you plan? How do you share that out? Do you put it on your website? Do you share it out in like periodic email blasts, or what does that look like? How do you guys organize all of these amazing things that you have going on, basically?
Oh, I'll totally go. So Tabitha and I think she gets it from me because I'm like OCD. I'm a planner, you guys. We had our 2022 planning meeting a month ago. So like we already know what Harmony alumni are doing for 2022.
Amazing.
Like generally speaking, like our big events, right? Like, and so we put all of those obviously in the Cared For app because that's the one-stop shop. But then we also put it on the website. So on the Harmony Foundation website, we have an alumni section where all the events are listed. So not every single one that like, monthly ones pop up, but like you know, our homecoming, our picnic, our camping trip, things that are like pretty like the established ones, but then any of the smaller ones we put on the app. We don't email anymore because we have the app and email. And for us, it just like, if we email, we're like, go to the app to check the event section.
Nice.
That's
No,
what-
that's smart. How many people really look at their emails these days? You know, I gotta wonder.
you know, I was gonna ask if anybody has like, does anybody do like a calendar invite? I was just curious because I was something I was gonna bring up with Cared for something. that
Oh,
they can-
yeah.
Does anybody do that? Like where if people, it can be, does anybody have that system, shall I say, when people sign up or they see the event, they can put it on their calendar? Does anybody do anything like that?
I would love to know too. So if you do find out, Michael, please let me know.
Like, because I think Cared for should do it. Maybe, I think Patrick's still on. He's eating lunch, but I think we should fight Megan for that. Because I think it's one thing, you know, like Natasha was just saying, for our alumni to like see it in an app or see it on a website. But if it doesn't, if we don't get alerts, like for me, if I don't get alerts,
Mhm.
it's like, it ain't happening. It
Right.
is not happening. It's just not happening. So I'm just curious, does anybody have any experience with any of those things?
I do not. We use the app and we put our events in the app as well. We'll sometimes post about it separate than the event as things come forward. We do an email newsletter to all of our alumni that we have emailed to. And so some of our bigger things, we'll send that out just as reminders. But yeah, we don't have anything as sophisticated as a, calendar invite yet. And then we're still building our website, so where all of those things will live as well. But right now the app is wonderful. And then we utilize 6 different Facebook groups, which is terrible. And I want to get away from that, but that's a work in progress.
We use Eventbrite to handle all of our events, like all of our alumni everything's. And I think that there is a link inside and that you get in an email from Eventbrite when you sign up for something that says add to calendar. And is that what you were talking about? A
Yeah,
calendar,
like, yeah, to like have like, because then and Eventbrite does notify you when an event's coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's helped us a lot. We do so each of our alumni programs has their own Eventbrite page, and that way it houses everything for us. We know who all's coming, canceling, who regularly goes to events, things like that. It manages things really well, and so it integrates obviously with the app and Facebook as well, so we can just use the link for all our events that way.
Patrick, can I ask a question? So if you use Eventbrite, do you guys also use Constant Contact at all, or do you just use Eventbrite?
No, we just use Eventbrite. If we need to email attendees, we can do that because we require when they sign up that that's like a preset thing. When you sign up, you have to submit your email address. It automatically puts it in there. So we don't have to. The constant contact thing, I think that's kind of how you would use a blast system, like to announce your event. And we do weekly like e-blast. We just use Emma. Sorry, I guess that was your question basically, like, are we using an email blast kind of deal? And Emma does have the plugin for Eventbrite. So we're able to like click the button and the cool Eventbrite badge for each event populates inside our e-blast. And so people can see what's coming up and they can just click the button that says sign me up.
Oh, you just inspired me.
Awesome.
To dump Constant Contact. Have them like, this is good. Thank you, Patrick. So then let me ask you, I'll pose the question when it comes to, to bring it kind of full circle back to community partners. Do any of you guys have anything that you are doing for Thanksgiving, like in the month of November or even December, with community partners that you want to share about that you think is wicked awesome, that's benefiting your alumni program? Delaney.
Well, we are doing an event, not in November, but in the first week of December so we do these wellness wheel events where we work through like this wellness wheel that I created with like 8 different categories of wellness, since we're primary mental health. And we're doing an event with a community partner, these 2 women who run this blog called The Life of Zen. And they focus on financial wellness. So we're having them come in and do kind of like a webinar with our alumni around having financial wellness and not overspending around the holidays, and how to like stay well financially during a time of like overspending and excess and pressure and all of that. And so our like executive director spoke on their blog. And so they're coming in and doing like this training for our alumni, which I'm like super excited about because I actually really want to learn about this too. But that's an event that we're doing with a local community partner that was kind of developed through like them reaching out to us to be part of their, they also have a podcast. So they're going to come in and do that event. I'm excited for that. And then we're also doing, this is the first year, we have an annual Thanksgiving dinner that we do with all of our patients the Monday before Thanksgiving. And I got permission for us to open it up to alumni this year. So we are having alumni come back on campus to attend that dinner, which is going to be fun.
Awesome. I like that idea. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else? Any cool things you do in the community or that you're thinking of, even if you're just thinking about it? What are you thinking about?
So Mike reminded me that we're actually participating in Recovery Dodgeball on December 4th. And I know Promises is actually one of the sponsors along with Rico. So this is something we've gotten to participate in the past, and it's a ton of fun, but it's essentially just a bunch of local treatment centers and sober livings and really anyone in the recovery community who will come out for a day of fun, playing dodgeball. They have a bunch of food trucks and it's all free to the community. So we have a bunch of alumni who are already geared up and ready to go peg some people with dodgeballs. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But yeah, that's gonna be a great community event there.
I would love to do some dodgeball. Okay.
I know.
I'm like, Tabs, we got to bring some stuff back now to Colorado. Awesome. Well, like I said, if I always say, like our workshops in true TPAS fashion, when it's over, it's over. But I will say too, if there are things that you guys are super excited about that we chatted about on the Zoom today, and you want to just post about it in Basecamp, like in the message or the campfire section, please do, so that alumni, other coordinators can see what's happening too, in case they missed it or they don't have the full hour or so to watch the recording. If you're like, hey, this is something that I'm going to do over the holidays, or these are community partners that I'm working with in my area, just to kind of really help our fellow members spark their creativity, that would be awesome sauce. Woo! Does anybody have anything else that they want to share, add? Any ahas, insights, appreciations from anything that happened today on the workshop?
I would like to say thank you, because we're really just starting fresh. So these are a lot of ideas that I think are really going to help us.
I'm like, and this is why we exist. I'm like, just kidding, but not kidding. Yay, that makes me so happy. I'm like in true alcoholic fashion, keep coming back. I'm just kidding. such as
And
yours.
I
Like,
think
can't
this is a perfect preview of the January collab that's going to be coming up in a couple of months. And I'm sure, Michael, you were way ahead of me and going to announce that. But we were at Malibu last month, and there were so many new centers out there just getting started in the alumni services program. So Nicole and Michelle, please know that you guys are in the right place, and everyone is amazing. Everyone just wants to share ideas. We're all on the same page, all on the same team about just building a strong community, a strong recovery community for all of our alumni. So
Yeah.
well done.
Yes, I think Natasha, thank you for spitting gold there. January virtual TPAS workshop is January 11th and 12th, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. Registration link is in that place, base camp, like base camp. And it'll also be on our Facebook page. Early bird pricing runs out soon-ish. My apologies, I'm not remembering the exact date. I'll have to ask Emily. But we do have early bird pricing. And again, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. It's a great way to kick off the new year for all of us with our programming to get some great ideas for 2022. So be sure to get signed up for that if you aren't already signed up for it. And then we also, like I said, we have in person in spring in Sandy Cove, Maryland. Well, actually northeastern Maryland at Sandy Cove. So we have a lot to look forward to in 2022. So I guess with that being said, you guys, I'm so grateful for all of you coming on here and sharing your ideas and welcoming our new members, Michelle and Nicole, with such open arms. This is only a piece of the pie, you guys, of who's all a part of this. And again, if anybody has any questions, you know where to go to Basecamp, all the things. With that being said, let's go ahead and we will end this meeting and we will see you guys in December. So mark your calendars. Our December workshop is going to be on December 8th. Wednesday, December 8th is our next workshop, the last workshop of 2021. I was like, of 2022, or not even in 2022. And then, oh, Amy, did you have a question? Sorry, I just saw that in the chat. I'm so sorry.
No, no worries. I think I was hearing that Patrick was mentioning that there's a way to email people from Eventbrite. Was that a thing?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you do that? Because I just did like 5 Eventbrites and then emailed the links in Constant Contact, and that would have saved me a lot of time.
Well, now, okay, so that's what I was separating. And now, are you talking about marketing your event before people sign up, or emailing attendees who've already signed up?
Before they sign up, like letting them know that it's happening.
Okay, so that part we use instead of Constant Contact. I don't really have experience with Constant Contact. Our email client that we use is Emma, and they do an integration that's really cool, where basically, like, I just say, like, I've got an event, click event, and drags and drops. And it already has integrated, so I can click any of the events that are already populated in our associated Eventbrite account. And so a really cool window just populates in the eBlast, and it looks sharp. It has a button to sign up, and you can actually customize it and everything. I don't know if Constant Contact does that or not, but it looks really nice and clean the way Emma does. But the option is always, of course, to you can hyperlink, using the link that it creates as well. So
Cool. Thank you.
sorry if I miscommunicated that.
No, that's okay. I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting, but thank you. No, that's great.
Mhm.
Thanks, Patrick. I was like, this is why we're here. So you guys go slay the rest of your day on Wednesday in the middle of the week. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of boost to just go and just fucking like kick some ass and take some names like a boss. And see you in December. Patrick!